One thing about me is that instead of flipping people off on the road when they get me mad, I will think of the most obscure, weird way to weird them out. Some dude was just tailing me on my butt. I was going way above the speed limit too, and this man would just not get off. So I brake checked him. I did everything in my power to get him off. But when he didn't, we got to the stoplight, and then when it turned green, he went around me and started speeding up. And then we got stuck at the same stoplight right next to each other. I have a really long tongue, like a weirdly long tongue. So I look at this man dead in the eye. I pull back my hairline and I go, let me tell you, his face dropped so fast. And then of course we get stuck at the next stoplight right next to each other. I make direct eye contact with him. And I look at him, make direct eye contact again, and I make a less weird face. I just go, yeah. So if you were that teenager on State Street that I did that to, I'm sincerely sorry, but let this be your lesson in to not tail people's butts. Thanks.
Story time about how I got my pictures taken while I was in the women's room. I'll explain. So me and my mom were at this outdoor mall area, and it's we're pretty expensive designer places, but they also have places to eat that are nice. And we're walking around for a little bit, and then we decide to go and get something to eat at this all natural place. They only sell healthy stuff. So we go in, and as we're in there, I start noticing that this girl is staring at me, and I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out why she's staring at me, and I'm okay, I'm gonna give it a second because maybe I'm going crazy. So then after I'm gonna say 15 minutes of this going on, and every time I look up, I can just I can just sense it, and I see her literally staring at me So I alert my mom because I'm Mama, this girl is staring at me. Can you tell me if I'm tripping? And she's where? And then I point to the girl, and but I do it discreetly because again she's staring at me, so she knows I'm talking about her, probably. And they're sitting across from us, but across from us diagonally, Okay. And so I tell my mom, and she's what the heck? Yes, she is. And my mom peeps that she's staring at me, but when my mom starts looking, the girl does the little thing, that people do when they're caught. Okay. And I know y'all could be well, maybe she was just admiring you, but this is where the story starts to get, actually weird, because my mom starts freaking out, because my mom does not play like that, and she's okay, well, I'm gonna say something. I'm Mom, please just leave it, I don't want to make a scene, and my mom is, very protective over me. She has been my whole life. Anytime I tell her, a teacher was mean, or, a vibe of someone was off, she'll, confront them. And, she'll get really mad. And I did not want that to happen in front of all those people, because my mom does not play like that, and she does not care. She'll do that. So I start scarfing my food down, trying to get my food finished as fast as I can. And then I'm okay, I'm going to use the restroom. So I tell my mom, she's if this girl doesn't stop, I'm going to say something. And I'm Mom, let's just, can we just try to, hurry up and get out of here? So before then, I go to use the restroom, right? And I notice when I get up, in my peripheral, I see this girl getting up, because I'm getting up, walking to the bathroom. The bathroom's, over there. She sees me. She stands up. I kid you not. Stands up, as I'm walking to the bathroom. And I go in the bathroom, and I go in a stall, and I hear the door open behind me, and I know it's that girl. I know it is. But it's when you go into the bathroom and you can hear somebody open the door and then close it and lock it? I never heard that. So I'm okay, she didn't even go into a stall. She literally didn't go into a stall. Because there was 3 stalls in that restaurant. And I would have heard the door close and lock, and the footsteps, but I never heard that. As soon as the door opened, the footsteps just stopped. Okay, and I'm in the first stall. I remember exactly, I was in the very first stall that I saw. And she just stops, and I'm what the heck? And, you know how, there's cracks in the women's bathroom and you can look-y see people sometimes? Well, this bathroom, it didn't really have that. The cracks were they're pretty much sealed, but I couldn't, tell, because I couldn't see anything, but maybe somebody could see me. I don't know. I'm not going to assume that, though. So then I get out of the stall, and the girl is standing directly in front of my stall. Just as I thought. She was literally standing, holding her phone like this at me. And at this point, she wasn't even trying to be discreet. Oh, I forgot to say something. While we were at the table, too, she was she kept lifting her phone up like that. And I told my mom, I was like, I think she's taking pictures of me. That was like how my mom started getting really mad, because she's like, why is she staring is one thing, but like starting to take pictures is a whole other thing. And she did the same thing when we're in the bathroom. And I was like, bro, what the freak? And I know y'all are like, why would you not say anything? At that point, I was just like, I need to get out of this bathroom. I wasn't focused on even speaking to this weirdo. I genuinely was like, I need to get out of the bathroom. Because if you're taking pictures of me and you're not even trying to be discreet, at that point, you don't even care. By the way, all of this is happening within a minute span of me being in the bathroom, because I literally got in the bathroom, pushed out my pee as fast as I could, and got out within like a minute. So it wasn't like we were in the bathroom for a really long time, because I was not trying to be in the bathroom with that girl for very long. So I walk out, and of course I didn't look behind me, but I'm assuming that she's following me. So I go to sit back down, and then I notice she sits back down at her table, and then my mom's like, you good? Like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what the freak, I don't know what just happened. And then I tell my mom, and exactly what happened, that like this girl was recording me. I felt like she was videoing me in the bathroom. And my mom is about to pop off, and I'm like, Mom, let's just go. Like, let's get her stuff and go. So then my mom is literally fighting everything not to go scream at this girl. We get our stuff and leave, because my mom already pays and whatever. So we're walking up, bro. As we literally get up, their entire table gets up. The second we stand up, their entire table gets up. And at this point, I'm like, what the heck? Like, what is our luck? Or what, like, genuinely, what is happening? So, yeah, me and my mom rush out of there, and then we go into, like, the closest store, because we're not trying to be around these fools. And then my mom, when we're in there, we don't see the people. So we're like, okay, we're good. And then my mom is like, wait a minute. Is it possible this girl could have recognized you from, like, your YouTube or something? And I was like, maybe. Because at the time, I was really only doing YouTube. And I did have a good amount of following. I will say that. And I was like, maybe. But, like, who does that? Like, who does that if they recognize someone? That's giving, like, different level of weird. You could be like, oh, my God, hey, can I get a picture? You don't record someone. Like, everybody knows that. It felt like, I don't know. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is this considered like a horror story? Because it was very creepy to me. And I don't want y'all in the comments talking about something, this did not happen. Yes, it did. Literally all my stories are real. I don't make up anything. If I did, honestly, like, I'd probably have a lot more stories. But, like, my life is low-key crazy. Bye, my loves. Jesus loves you. Story time, I found out my dad was cheating on my mom with a man, bro. A fucking man. So I did ask my mom for permission to post this video and talk about this, because this is a very humbling experience as a girl, as a baddie, because she's a baddie. So for Becca's story, my dad had cheated on my mom, like, always, his whole fucking life, with so many women. I have, like, step siblings. Yeah, you know, like, who would have thought that he liked it from the back? Damn. My dad is almost 60, and my mom is barely 40. So when he was 20, she was 1. Yeah, it's a 20-year age gap. So man, as in, my dad would barely be home. He would be out with, like, ladies and stuff, and cheat on my mom with so many people. But my mom didn't give a fuck. I don't know why. Maybe she was cheating on him too, but who knows. But so this is one time, since he would never, like, he would only go to sleep there sometimes, and, like, he would be there but not often. But there was one time I stayed. I didn't go to school. I stayed, but my mom had to do some errands, so she left me alone. And around that time, I was like 6, 7. No, I'm playing. Okay, sorry. Okay, fuck that. Okay, so I was like, yeah, I was around 6 or 7, and I stayed there. And I remember just being there. I don't know what I was doing. My mom was not gonna go for a long time. Then I hear my dad come in, and me, goofy me, I was like, let me hide. It's always when you're hiding, that's when you find out the dirtiest and horrible, like, the most terrific stuff, when you're hiding, playing hide and seek with your parents, bro. So I hide, and then I hear him come in, but it's him and another man, and I'm like, oh, it must be his friend, you know. And this is when it starts, girls. I was literally about to come out and, like, scare him. And mind you, I'm hiding in my closet of my room, and my room, it was, like, open. I don't know how to explain it, but it was open. You could see from the living room. So I'm hiding in the closet, and I'm waiting for my dad. I see my man, and I see the man. Like, I see this man. I thought they were about to start fighting, bro. I thought they were going to start fighting, because I see him push him like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? In my head, I'm like, I'm scared. In my head, I'm scared, because I'm like, oh, my daddy's going to fight, you know? And then, no, they liked it aggressive. So mind you, this guy and my dad, he pushed my dad, and then they start gripping on each other. And yeah. But the man that he was with, I knew that man. He was like a family friend. So I was like, in my head, I didn't know that man could kiss. I didn't know, like, I was never aware of, like, they start going, bro. Like, bro, I don't know why I had to see that shit, bro. I was, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? So they were, like, kissing. They were taking, like, each other's clothes. But by the time I was so glad I didn't see that shit, bro. I was so glad I didn't see that shit, bro. By the time they were like about to take off the I got out that shit. I was like, no, bro. I just couldn't. So I got out the closet and I started crying in my room. I was like crying and yelling. And then that's when my dad figured out that I was in the room. He couldn't see me when I got out from the closet. I could only see the living room. They couldn't see me. But I started crying in my bed as if I was having a fucking nightmare. I was faking it. I started screaming at my dad. I scared. He went to the room. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I told him I was having a bad dream. And then my mommy left me. And when I asked him what was he doing here, he was like, oh, we were just getting off work. And then here's what they doing. And then obviously I knew. So I told my mom. But obviously I knew what had happened. So I waited for my mom to get home and I told her. I was like, Dad was kissing with a man. Dad was doing stuff with a man. And then my mom was like, huh? But she was like used to him cheating on him with a woman, not a man. So she didn't believe me. So she basically like, well, I wasn't there when she did this shit, so I can't really like explain everything. But she just told me that like she basically set him up. That she told him that she was gonna go this day, and then she basically stayed, and then she actually watched them do their stuff, and then she called him. Then yeah, girls, things got bad. But yeah, that's basically the story, guys. Sometimes that's how you know when a man cheats on a woman, he just gotta be gay. Like he's not happy. If he's not happy with women, it's because he likes getting a hit from the back. But yeah, it's okay though. And I didn't even ask my dad permission to post it, so he might be mad when he sees it. Sorry, Dad. But it's okay to be gay. I support you, bro. But it was just insane. How are you gay and you've got like so many kids? Like,
all right, I'm gonna tell y'all about the time that my ex-boyfriend cheated on me, and in turn, I ended up saving somebody's life. Weird, I know, but literally, I'm just making tomato and toast. I just love tomatoes and I love bread, and together the combo was amazing. But I forgot my olive oil. But anyways, so, yeah, my ex at the time, you know, we had been dating probably about, I think at this point we were in it for over a year. I think close to almost 2 years, something like that. Anywho, one night I'm supposed to be picking him up from work, which at the time he did part-time working as a bouncer at this bar that I used to bartend at. Funny, that's how we met, of course. You should have known. That's not where you meet your husband. It's not at the bar. I'll tell you that. But anywho, did somebody pull in? I don't know. Maybe a customer came. No, I don't think so. But so I go to pick him up, and it's like late, you know. He's like, I actually got out early, so I was like, okay, bet. He's like, but I'm gonna have a drink with some of the guys. So I was like, okay, no problem. I was with my homegirl anyway, so it's no big deal. And then I texted him that I was like, hey, I'm on the way, because I was getting tired, like, it was getting late, I was ready to go home. And he didn't respond, but that was okay, because, like, obviously, like, I pull up there whenever. It's no big deal. Well, tell me why, when I pulled up, this motherfucker is making out with another female. I don't want to degrade her, because honestly, she was just the slime of the town anyways, but anywho, I was kind of, like, shocked. Hold on. Dang, I saw a cop slowing down. I didn't even do nothing. I thought I was in trouble. But anywho. And normally, I would beat the fuck out of somebody, but like for some reason I think I was in such shock that I literally had my jaw on the floor, turned around and went straight to my car, got in and just started speeding. Like I just started driving because I was like, I need to get the fuck out of there. And I think my mind was just going crazy. Like I couldn't believe what I had just seen. He's blowing up my phone. I'm not answering. Like it really, really did suck because, like, I genuinely thought I was in love with that fucking dirt. Whatever. Anyways, so, and, like, for it to be heard, bro, like, not trying to be like that, but it's just, like, come on. Not that it should be any female. It's just, the disrespect was just crazy. So, anywho, he's blowing me up. I'm not answering. I decide to go. I take a route home that I normally never take. And as I'm driving, I get around this corner, there's this bend, and you know, like the telephone poles and all the lines and stuff, well, it's in the road, and all these wires are like in the road. It looked like a fucking movie scene, and this car is on this front lawn, upside down, like on its head, engulfed in flames. But get this, the power lines are so close to the flame, I'm freaking out, because I'm like, dude, if that catches fire, we're fucked, and it's on both sides. So I immediately just go spring into action. I call 911. I let them know that they need to bring ambulances, but they got to come on both sides and fire trucks, because this power line is so close to this fire that, like, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. And then I think there's a customer coming. Yeah. So, and then I rush over to the house that the car is on, because it's on the lawn so close to this house that I don't know what the hell is going to happen. Hold on. So as I was saying, I go to their house, I wake them up. It was crazy because you would have thought with that accident that you would have heard this commotion, but nobody was awake, nobody even knew. So I ran to that house, woke them up, because obviously there's got to be somebody in the vehicle, in the burning vehicle. But at that time, I was just trying to get everybody situated before, because I didn't know if that fucking car was going to explode or not, or what the hell was going to happen. So I told them, and then I ran straight to that car. I'm screaming because I looked around the vehicle and I didn't see any body, like a body anywhere, like potentially if they got ejected out the vehicle or anything. And I'm screaming, and it's so fucking hot, so hot. And so I'm yelling, and finally, like, I could see somebody in the car, and I just go in and just fucking yank him out, and I drag him out, and I don't know, honestly, like, that moment I blacked out because it was so fucking hot, and like so much was happening. My adrenaline was pumping, and all I knew is I had to get that guy out of the car. I got him out the fucking car, and then I'm yelling at him because he's disoriented, obviously. I'm like, is there anybody else? Is there anybody else? I can't really see, like, well in that car. It's so fucking engulfed in flames. And he's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, no, nobody else is with me. I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm scared. Like, what if there's a kid or something? And then finally the cops come. He's trying to come too. All these neighbors come out, you know, ambulance, fire trucks, everybody's there. And then basically they all like applaud me. They're like, you honestly just saved this man's life, because he knocked out in that accident, and he would have asphyxiated from the smoke or burned alive. So neither one was great. But I say that to say this, it's just crazy that, like, when I was driving and thinking about what I had just seen and like everything I had felt, like I genuinely felt like my entire world ended when that happened with my ex. And after that situation, it made me realize that like life is truly so precious, and that no matter the heartbreak or anything, there is more to come. There's always something to look forward to. So even if like somebody hurts you or whatever, like it's not the end, it's never the end. And you always have something to learn and gain from your experiences. And so, yeah, that encounter actually really did change my life in many ways, like my perspective on things. Because after that happened, obviously I didn't know the guy. I didn't know anything. I just gave them my info and I left, like my statement and everything. And about a month or two later, I remember it was December. And at the time, I did pizza delivery as a part-time job, and so I was delivering, and I get to the house, whatever, and this guy answers the door, and he looks familiar, but I don't realize I recognize him. And then he looks at me, he's like, hey, are you so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, like, do I know you? And he goes, you're the one that actually saved my life. He's like, I had a seizure while I was driving, and that's how the accident happened. And he's like, and if you weren't there, I would have died. And I was like I have goosebumps even when I tell the story still, like, and think about it. But he was like, thanked me, tried to repay me, whatever. I said, no, actually, like, you were a gift too in disguise. You just don't know it. But yeah, so take everything with a grain of salt, and life is never over. It is quite precious. And go and fucking experience all of life, all of it, the good, bad, the ugly, everything.
My first heartbreak is when I was in the 8th grade. I'm gonna call him Daniel. I don't know. So I had this really big crush on Daniel, and I don't remember how we became friends. I think it's because we had a mutual friend and we ended up having science class together. And so I was like, he's the only person I know in this class. Like, I'm gonna go and sit by him. He was cute. He was like a little dorky, nerdy. I thought that he was adorable. He and I are lab partners, so we're doing all of our projects together in class, and we are just talking all the time. I get his phone number and we start texting, and it's like very innocent stuff, like us sending memes. Like, we're 13. Remember, we had a dance in middle school, and he dressed up as Doc from Back to the Future, and I thought it was like the cutest, funniest thing ever. And I was like, oh my god, I have the fattest crush on this kid. But as the old story goes, he did not have a crush on me. He did not like me. In fact, he liked this other girl who was so extremely annoying. And I mean, like, she would flop on the floor and starfish in the middle of the hallway. I'm gonna name her Katrina. So Daniel would always talk to me about how much he loved Katrina and that he wanted to be with Katrina so bad that Katrina actually liked one of Daniel's friends. So I would hear all the time about how Katrina was hanging out with Daniel's friend and how he was so sad about it. And we're 13, but like, it shattered my whole world. And one day something crazy happens and Katrina is no longer dating Daniel's friend. Instead, I find out that Katrina is now dating Daniel, the guy that I like, okay? The guy that I've been listening to. I've been listening to him talk about how much he loves Katrina for so long. So I should be happy for him, but I am just heartbroken. I would go home after school and cry my eyes out in my mattress. I would cry. I was so upset. I remember I had to go to school and she's like wearing his jacket and they're like holding hands. I was pissed. And then somehow Daniel finds out that I have a crush on somebody and he's like, how could you not tell me that you have a crush on somebody? Like, why would you not tell me? And I start panicking. I'm like, oh my God, I can't tell him. And this is over text. So he's texting me. He's like, please, like, you have to tell me. I've been talking to you about Katrina and now like we're finally together. Like, you have to tell me. And I'm like, no, like, I can't tell you. Like, I really don't want to. And then he says, oh my God, oh, I know who it is. And he's like, it's me, isn't it? And I started to panic. I was like, no, 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 it's not. And he was like, oh my stars. Oh my stars. Ew, I'm getting cringed out. Why did I like this guy? Like, we were 13, but he's like, oh my stars, you like me. Oh my stars. I just remember I was like crying. So I was like, now I can't even be friends with him because he's gonna think it's so weird. And yeah, we like didn't really talk as much after that because he found out that I liked him, and yeah, it was weird. And Katrina ended up breaking his heart. So Katrina's a little hoe ass. I don't know.
I was talking to my parents and I'm like, did you guys ever have another name picked out for me? And my dad was like, well, I did suggest one. And your mother said that she would divorce and beat the shit out of me. I was like, okay, well, what was your suggestion? What could it possibly have been? Dumbass? Like, I don't... He says Angie. I'm like, well, what is your ex's name or what? Like, what's the issue with Angie? Now, let's preface this. My mother had an extremely difficult delivery with me. She almost died. I almost died. So at the end of all that, she was not in a good mood, right? Number two, my father passed out mid-delivery. So she was not happy with him, right? Because I'm dying. Why the fuck are you on the floor? Get the fuck up. Then number three, she was told that I was going to be a boy. So because she didn't have any boy names picked out, she was like, listen, come up with something and let's just get this over with. So my dad said Ange, and my mother, who was very extremely stressed and annoyed, she heard engine. Now, my father's a car dealer. So my mom starts yelling at him. She's like, I knew it. I shouldn't have married a car dealer. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God, what kind of a father are you going to be? If you're trying to name your daughter Engine. And my dad was like, no, I'm saying Angie. And my mom was like, get the fuck out of the room. Anyway, she picked out my name. She called him back into the room. She was like, write this on the fucking birth certificate. And if I see the word engine anywhere on that piece of paper, I will kill you. He's like, but I never said engine. She's like, shut the fuck up. Anyways, my father filled out my birth certificate. He spelled my name wrong, but at least my name's not Engine.